Sometimes history is much better than fiction. This is one of those times. This episode is about culture. And hold on, because I'm gonna need more than a minute for this. Okay, so you know how America just chose a new president? Well, this episode will give you an entirely new meaning to the word president. Watch, dig it. There are certain slang terms that you've been saying and hearing your entire life, but didn't realize they all came from one person. And get this, these slang terms that are highly identifiable in hip-hop and in black culture at large and beyond all came from a single person like 80, 90 years ago. Maybe the coolest guy we've ever seen. And I guarantee you use at least one of these words weekly, if not daily. Stay tuned, because I'm gonna name drop quite a few of your favorite rappers' names, lyrics, song titles, so on and so forth. Okay, so remember this scene from one of my favorite movies of all time, Mo Better Blues. If you listen in the background, you'll hear a song called Goodbye Pork Pie Hat. The focal point of that song is the foundation to all that I'm about to say. What if I told you that song was about a man by the name of Lizetta Young, a jazz musician that was just as integral a part of language and culture as he was to his tenor saxophone? Now, his name was Lizetta Young, but his nickname was Prez, short for president. Alright, so check it. Remember when Rakim said this?
Cool, cause I don't get upset. I kick a hole in the speaker, pull a plug, then I jet.
So how about this song right here?
But I'm cool like that. I'm cool like that. I'm cool like that. I'm cool like that.
In fact, what about a song by my mentors, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, with The Time, along with Prince, and they had this song. Remember those songs. Now, what does LL Cool J, Kool Moe Dee, DJ Kool Herc, Coolio, Kool Rock Ski of the Fat Boys, Kool DJ Red Alert, the coolest legend, Kool Keith, and Kool G Rap all have in common, you guessed it, the word cool. So although the word itself has been in existence since at least the 15th century, the meaning of cool as we know it, to mean stylish, part of the in crowd, even to acknowledge a friendship, all comes from the 1930s jazz scene, and more specifically, the man with the pork pie hat, Lizetta Young. It not only became part of the cool cat jazz culture, it became a part of everyday lingo. At that point, wrongfully attributed to the later hippie movement, that's too late, or even the beatnik era, again, too late. They adopted that word, not the creators of that term as we know it, which brings me back to Rakim, Diggable Planets, Minneapolis, and the million other artists that utilize that word. In fact, it's not surprising that we could go through the music of some of the latest inductees into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. These guys.
If you're on a foreign path, then let me do the lead. Join in the essence of the cool I breed.
Reason being, they literally grew up in the same neighborhood that Lizetta Young lived in. Moving on, back to Mo Better Blues. When you watch the end of that movie and countless other Spike Lee joints, there's something you usually see at the end, right? This.
Now dig, check this out.
Now what does Mo Better Blues have in common with the cult classic film Warriors?
Can you dig it?
And for good measure, I'll throw in a few modern names like Young Jeezy, The Baby. Now prior to Lizetta Young, the word dig simply meant to break up, turn or loosen earth with an implement, to dig. But when Prez got his hands on the word, he turned it into the act of liking something. I dig that.
You dig? I wasn't sure which way I wanted to go, you dig? So I played one of his, one of them, you dig? So I had both of them made.
Next up, remember when 50 Cent said this? Okay, now how about J. Cole?
Collecting his bread and mass like he a Catholic preacher.
How can we forget Kendrick Lamar saying this?
Now you double up, time to bubble up the bread and huddle up.
You see, in our culture, bread is not just a food made of dough that we digest, but thanks to Prez, bread is also how we refer to money. When asking what the pay is like, Lizetta Young would ask, how does the bread smell? Seems like that caught on, because everyone is saying that, even today. Now, there was a particular show on MTV. Remember this show? Everybody talks about the Red Man episode. Hilarious. Must see TV. But have you ever thought about the origins of calling your house the crib? I think you see where this is going. Now, although some references may have been made in Shakespeare's Hamlet, where he says, let a beast be lord of beasts, and his crib shall stand at the king's mess, which is left up into interpretation. But what is not left up to interpretation, beyond a shadow of a doubt, is Lizetta Young, aka Prez, in the 1930s, spreading throughout the jazz community the idea that your crib is your living quarters.
So I climbed through the window of this fly crib.
We could be here all day with that one, but let's move on. You used to watch and live in color, right?
Welcome to the Homeboy Shopping Network.
Y'all like Run DMC, right?
Now the beat is I possess for one
Prez was originally from Mississippi, grew up in New Orleans, Louisiana, spent time in Minneapolis, Kansas City where he met Count Basie, but both he and Count Basie at some point moved to Queens, New York, settling just blocks from one another, literally right by where Fife grew up, CL Smooth, but because Basie and Prez were from the same neighborhood, Prez started calling Count Basie Homeboy. Yes, Lizetta Young is the creator of Homeboy as we use it today. Now there's some theories about Homeboy, about it starting in southern black plantations during the slavery period. With Prez, there's no doubt he used it the way we use it. Lastly, have you ever seen the Oscar-nominated film Lady Sings the Blues, starring the great Diana Ross, Detroit legend, international phenom? She's depicting a legend who lived up the block this way from Count Basie and up the block that way from Lizetta Young, Billie Holiday. The reason that film was called Lady Sings the Blues, Billie's nickname was Lady Day, hence Lady Sings the Blues. But that name Lady Day was given to her by Prez himself, Lizetta Young. But check this out, Billie Holiday gave Lizetta Young the nickname Prez, short for president of course, so they were even. Prez was so cool, there goes that word again, that there was once a Motown singer who was listening to Lizetta Young records, and the singer had an epiphany. He said, I've been singing too loud and forcefully. I need to pull back, lay back, and sing smoother, be cool with it. That singer was this guy.
Now I gaze out my window, sugar down, lonesome road.
Oftentimes words and phrases are born out of pure culture, but once it goes mainstream, the original cultural foundation of that word is somehow lost and removed until now. Because words are not just words, there's a culture and a consciousness with those words. So next time you're talking to your homeboy at the crib, counting bread, and y'all are talking about something cool, you never know. The words may have come from Prez himself or someone who looks like him. You dig? But that's all I'll say for now, because my time is up.